What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Celio's Network, the channel dedicated to providing you with competitive Pokemon TCG content. Today we're looking at Sceptile-GX Lurantis. Sceptile is one of the most hyped GXs from the new set. Of course, behind Blacephalon and Alolan Ninetales, but it's a Stage 2 Pokemon with a lot of potential, and I'm excited for that. Testing this variant has I like how it plays. It flows well. It might be a little underwhelming. I'm also trying Sceptile-GX out with a couple other partners, but I do think this deck has a place in the meta. I just don't know if it's tier 1. It's a bit slow. The damage output and it being a stage 2 Pokemon as the main attacker makes it a little bit slow. But we have things in here to make damage a little bit better and also to make Sceptile tank fairly well, actually. So we'll just go into the Pokemon here. Ditto Prism, you're going to be seeing this guy in a lot of decks now. Since it has Almighty Evolution, you may put any Stage 1 card from your hand onto this Pokemon to evolve it. So it can evolve into either a Lurantis or a Grovyle in this deck. You cannot rare candy. It says nothing about using rare candy. I've seen some people ask that. So Ditto is just basically a third Lurantis or a fourth Treecko, that's it. Then we have 2-2 Lurantis. Fomantis' first attack is actually pretty useful. Search your deck for a grass energy, attach it to one of your Pokemon. So you can synthesis, attach it to one of your Pokemon, and then if Fomantis lives, you get to retreat with it next turn too. Lurantis, the attacks of your grass and fire Pokemon do 20 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. So this will be buffing our grass attacks by 20. If you have 2, that's by 40. But most of the time 20 is enough to make it matter. Next we have one shuckle-gx. This is really great to start with. Since our deck is slow, Shuckle can get some early damage in and also protect itself with its ability. Prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from your opponent's Pokemon that have 2 or fewer energy attached to them. So a DCE attack or a single energy attack won't hurt Shuckle as long as his ability is working. So that's really good. Things like Riotous Beating, the new Granbull, which does 160 potentially for 1 energy, even opposing Sceptiles. There's a lot of Pokemon that aren't going to be able to attack Shuckle in the beginning turns, and if your opponent can't find energy, they might not be able to attack Shuckle for a while, actually. And Triple Poison poisons the opposing Pokemon for 3 damage between turns instead of 1, and Wrap does 40 and the Pokemon's paralyzed. Wrap is your GX attack, and against a lot of decks you want to save that for Sceptile, but Wrap can also be really good to buy you a turn or force your opponent to Guzma, or just get that extra 40 damage or so that you need on a Pokemon to win on the following turns. Shuckle's a really great card. We have 1 in here. I would like to have either another designated starter Pokemon or a second Shuckle in here if I find the room. There's a couple cuts that could be made, but Shuckle's really great to start with. Then we have 4 Treecko. We're using 60 HP. It's searchable by Elm, which we are playing 1 of, and it has Find a Friend, search your deck for a grass Pokemon, so not bad. We have 3 Grovyle, which is arguably what makes Sceptile-GX as playable as it is, because having this as your stage 1 is just so good. Once during your turn, you can search for a grass Pokemon. That's it. So you can, if you have all your Treeckos down, evolve into Grovyle, search out a Grovyle, then search out Sceptile, Fomantis, Lurantis, another Treecko, Shuckle, whatever. So Sunshine Grace is a really great ability. Then we have 3 Sceptile-GX. Everything about this card is spectacular in my opinion. So we have 230 HP. Mach Cut for 1 energy, dealing 60 before modifications, and discard a special energy from your opponent's active Pokemon, so things like Zoroark are going to hate this attack. Then we have Leaf Cyclone for 2 grass, 130, and move a grass energy from this Pokemon to one of your benched Pokemon. So you're potentially, if Sceptile would be knocked out next turn, you're saving one of those energies. If Sceptile is going to be hit next turn and you're going to want to use a Max Potion, you are potentially discarding 1 less energy for Max Pot, because Leaf Cyclone will only have will be moving an energy off of Sceptile. Leaf Cyclone can move an energy to a Pokemon to protect it from Ultra Beasts if you have your other Sceptile out, which we'll get to in a moment, and it will also allocate another energy to another Pokemon for Jungle Heal GX, which is Sceptile's last attack and its GX attack. For 1 grass energy, heal all damage from each of your Pokemon that has any grass energy attached to it. So Jungle Heal is amazing versus spread decks, or even just an opponent that is having trouble cleaning up KOs and you are switching Pokemon in and out. So overall, Sceptile-GX is an amazing card, and I hope that it finds its place in the meta. As being a stage 2 and not being a one-hit knockout oriented deck is rough most of the time in Pokemon. Especially right now when we have decks like Blacephalon and Zorora and Rayquaza and things that are focusing on taking huge knockouts. Like I said, Sceptile can take knockouts with 1 Lurantis in play. Leaf Cyclone's doing 150 with a Choice Band that's 180. With 2 Lurantis, Leaf Cyclone is doing 170 before Choice Band. Chances are you're going to hit some things with Mach Cut, some things with Shuckle's Poison, and leave some damage scattered around the board and take easier knockouts later. Especially since if Sceptile ever tanks a hit, you can just max pot or Jungle Heal or do something, switch them out. Sceptile should be tanking hits fairly frequently. And then we'll get to our other Sceptile, which is 140 HP, Stage 2. Its ability, prevent all damage done to your Pokemon that have any grass energy attached to them by attacks from your opponent's Ultra Beasts. Note that it is not just GX and EX Ultra Beasts, it's all Ultra Beasts. So Baby Buzz, Baby Nag, Buzzwole-GX, Blacephalon-GX, to name just some of the most popular Ultra Beasts. This is huge. Like, there's the deck like Blacephalon-GX. Its attackers are Blacephalon and Baby Naganadel. They will be having the tech in either Plumeria to remove the grass energy so they can swing without Power of Nature stopping it. They'll have to tech in Turtonator-GX as a non-Ultra Beast attacker, or Ditto and Salazzle-GX as a non-Ultra Beast attacker, if they want to stand a chance versus Sceptile-GX decks. Because without a tech, you just set up your Celestial Storm Sceptile, and they can't attack any of your grass energy, any of your Pokemon with grass energy on it. Its attack Powerful Storm is actually really great. I think it's a sleeper attack for the deck, and it's why we're playing Super Boost Energy. Powerful Storm, for 1 grass, it does 20 times the amount of energy attached to all of your Pokemon, so just popping a Super Boost Energy down makes it do 80 automatically. Then let's say you have 2 other energy from previous turns spread around the board, that's 120. With a Lurantis, that's 140. With a Choice Band, that's 170. And I've actually done that exact scenario to knock out Tapu Lele GXs multiple times in testing. So this is a very useful attack that I think is many people overlook. I have 2 Sceptile in here right now because with, let's say we play one of this and it's prized, our matchup versus Blacephalon Naganadel becomes absolutely just about unwinnable. It's a very bad matchup, but then this one card is on our board and it turns the tables completely, because they just cannot damage us. So if Blacephalon's going to be popular, which I expect it to be, this is a very good card, and I wouldn't want it to be prized and lose us a match, because this being prized would literally lose us that match. It's not even a 10% or 20% swing. It's literally the difference between winning or losing. Now, if every Blacephalon deck starts teching around this with Salazzles and Turtonators and Plumerias, I don't think this deck will survive if Blacephalon is a very, very strong deck, because it turns one of our extremely favorable matchups into their teching against us, and now we probably don't win most of our games versus it. So we'll have to see how that plays out in the meta, but in a vacuum, this deck's pretty strong. Then we have 2 Tapu Lele GX for its Wonder Tag ability. Every now and again, we'll get an Energy Drive off. So on to the trainers. We have 3 Max Potion to heal the damage from our Sceptile-GXs most of the time. We have 4 Netball, which is an amazing card for this archetype. Search your deck for a basic grass Pokemon or grass energy. This allows us to be a little, allocate less spots to grass energy, because we can search it out with this if we happen upon one of these later in the game. So a Nest Ball, which a lot of decks play to get out their basics, would normally be almost useless in the late game, but here Netball can find us a grass energy, which is great. We play 3 rare candy. Since we're playing a thick Grovyle line, we don't always. It's actually we're using 1 or 2 rare candy almost every game. I don't think I've ever used 3, and sometimes I get by with just 1. It's nice to candy 1 early on to get early attacks off. Like I said, early power is this deck's problem, which is why I'm running 3. If we had a better early game, I might drop it down to 2. 1 rescue stretcher. Useful if we prize 1 Sceptile non-GX and they knock it out and we need it for the Ultra Beast damage. We can get it back. Extra Grovyle is always nice to have on the board. Shuffle back a Fomantis Loranis line. Get our Shuckle because our opponent's Pokemon can't continuously attack with 3 energy. Maybe we need to get Shuckle back. 4 Ultra Ball. Still, 4 Netball for the basic, but we also need to find our other Pokemon. Because of Grovyle, Ultra Ball isn't super necessary, but I like it so we have those outs to find Lele to find a supporter. Because this deck can run into lack of draw power, so you want to make sure you're getting those supporters on your first turn. Life Forest, an amazing Stadium Prism. Once during each player's turn, that player may heal 60 damage and remove all special conditions from one of their grass Pokemon. So this goes along with this healing theme we have between Jungle Heal and Max Pot. We can retreat something to the bench or Guzma our own Pokemon to the bench and heal a little turn by turn if Life Forest remains for, say, 2 turns. We don't have to waste a Max Pot on that Pokemon. Next for supporters, we have 4 Cynthia, shuffle draw 6, 4 Guzma for the Gust effect, 3 Lily. It's great to see this turn 1 hit a bunch of Nest Balls. If our hand doesn't allow for a valuable Lily and we want to play it safe, we do play 1 Elm for those games where we want to Lele for an Elm turn 1, get out 2 Treecko, a Ditto, Treecko, Fomantis, Ditto, whatever it is, and then 1 Sightseer. I would like a second. This is really great in Stage 2 decks, but this deck isn't always searching for that candy Stage 2 combo like other Stage 2s are, which is where I think Sightseer thrives. Also, it's very good in decks where you want to get things in the discard. This is really neither, but there are times when you're going to have some dead cards in your hand. Like, let's say you candy 2 of your Sceptiles. You're not setting up any more Grovyles for the game. Maybe you want to Sightseer a Grovyle away, or you don't need the second non-GX Sceptile. Get that out of here. You already have all your basics and grass energy in your hand. Get some Netball out of there. Getting dead cards out of your cycle of hand and deck is something that Zoroark GX decks inherently have because of trade, so I think it's really great to have that in Sightseer for other decks. Then we have 2 Choice Band to, bump up the damage. Sceptile can usually 2-shot most things, but you get a cheeky 1-shot every now and again. Like I said, we're playing the Super Boost energy. If you have 3-stage Pokemon in play, it counts as 4 rainbows. That's really great for the powerful Storm attack. And we're playing 8 Grass Basic Energy. Like I said, I think this deck is strong. I really love Sceptile-GX. I think it's right now it's hard to say. We're 5 days into three days into Lost Thunder being on PTCGO at the time of recording this video. I don't really think we have a baseline yet for what tier 1 is or what decks we have to beat. I'm looking at it as kind of like Classic Psychic Malamar, Spell Tag Malamar, Blacephalon, Naganadel, maybe Buzzwole, maybe Zoroark, maybe a Alolan Ninetales Decidueye because that's getting a fair amount of attention, it seems. So it's hard to say what decks you need to beat to be tier 1 or tier 2. So I think it's good to have decks that are just inherently powerful in a vacuum and see where the meta goes. This is one of those decks that can handle a lot of different things. It's kind of a control-y deck that also attacks because you're controlling the damage on your board. You're moving energy around. You're removing energy with Mach Cut. It's a cool deck. It's really fun to play. I like it. There's a fair amount of moving parts. Try it out for yourself. See what you like. Maybe Loranis isn't the partner for Sceptile-GX, but I think it is one of the potential partners. We'll see where the meta goes, where this deck goes within the meta. That's all I have for you guys today. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time here on Celio's Network.